I just picked the next question, and it's the same category, budget finance. And this question will first go to Bob Boggio. What strategies will you pursue to investigate ways to reduce operational costs in Ford's Colony?
I think in order to do cost reduction, I think you need to take a look at your costs and delve into the details associated with those costs, both labor and I'd say materials, for example. We've got a pretty good handle on where the money is being spent and where the focus could be. I think the committees have started taking some serious look at cost reduction. I think it's a beginning, and I think there's some activity that needs to be more focused in both areas, namely materials and labor. I've got quite a bit of background in cost reduction in my history of doing business. So what has actually transpired recently is a nice start. I think we need to have a little more focus and possibly take one of the board members as a key lead in pulling together some of the committee chairmen and doing a drill down on where the best opportunities for reductions are and implementing a plan. Focus on one and another, maybe a couple at a time.
Next, we'll go to Daphne.
Nicely said, Bob. I don't think I have anything to add.
Thank you. Roy Madsen.
I think that actually the Finance Committee and the folks have done actually a really nice job about trying to managing our finances. But when it comes to cost, I think we need to think about that in a little bit different way. Is that, yes, I am a CPA and I do have that occupational hazard. But having said that, is that I don't think we should be looking at it in a detailed way. Is that we perhaps should be looking at the way that we do our business and the models that we use and take a little bit longer view on what we do and how we do it. And, you know, so it isn't a matter about what we specifically spend. It's more a matter about how we are doing, what spending are we doing, okay? So, and I think that's something that both the board and the community itself needs to have some more input into as we go forward.
Thank you, Roy. Ray Van Cott.
So if we go back to this fiscal year, which just finished in 2020, and look at the formation of that budget, you'd hear, and if you look at some old minutes or talk of the colonies, the Finance Committee undertook almost a zero-based budgeting plan and basically told the committees to come up with, I believe the number was somewhere around 4 or 5% reduction of their total cost, and challenged committees to do that. The board then took the attitude that the committee, when they brought forward the 2020 budget, they had to address why they could make 5% or 4%, and it was up to the board to accept or reject those reasons. So I think that was probably the first attempt since I've been here for an aggressive approach to budgeting, and it was driven by the Finance Committee in 2019. The 2020 budget did come in under plan for a lot of reasons, COVID related as well. I think you always have to take an aggressive approach to budgeting and costs and make sure that you deliver what the residents of Ford's Colony want in the most efficient, cost-effective manner. And we try and do that every year, and it's something that you just don't sit back on your laurels and say, hey, we got it done. I mean, it's something you address every year, every time you're faced with a decision that implicates money. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Rick Beers.
I'd like to fill in a couple of blanks. As I was thinking ahead towards today, and the cost reduction discussion had to happen because it has to continually happen, and we need to treat cost reduction as an ongoing objective or an ongoing goal of the board. And I think an area that is really ripe is technology. I think that our technology base right now is probably 25 years old, similar to pipes. And the equipment that we have is really prized to be upgraded, as does the software. I'll give you an example: self-service. There's no reason we shouldn't be looking at self-service right now within the community. Provide residents the opportunity to pay directly and to gain information without learning that easily. And I think that's one example or one idea that we could look at, and it probably extends a lot further than that. I think that another way to do this that I would like to see is not look at the budgetary categories, but look at the outcomes. This is pretty frequent or pretty common within business, that we categorize what we want to do. And I think what we should be looking at is a horizontal view of our costs and look at what are our cost base right now to simply sustain what we have. What are our costs that are targeted at enhancing what we have, such as amenities? And what are the costs that we have that allow us to adapt to a changing environment? And if we take a look at our costs that way and decide what we want to be, I think we'd have a better view of our costs and our spending from an outcome standpoint. That got a little wonky, but it's a slightly different view, I think, that I'd like to pursue. Thank you.